Good evening. You're now with me, Lorenzo Isaac, for TVS Nightline. We begin with this story. The success of the Sabah-Sarawak 275 kV interconnection grid network has strengthened Sarawak's position as the industry leader in renewable energy, effectively establishing a new chapter in collaboration between the two Borneo states. Premier Dato' Peninggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg says the project began operating since December 13, 2025 and is one of long-term strategic plan for energy robustness and security in the region.
Sarawak is blessed with abundant, predominantly renewable energy resources, particularly hydropower. With its strength in renewable energy, Sarawak is well positioned to share power resources with our neighbors, Sabah, Brunei, and Kalimantan for our common benefit.
Currently, Sarawak can generate about 3,558 megawatts of hydropower. This becomes the backbone to the stable yet low-carbon electrical supply with additional 1,285 megawatts by 2030.
Electrons can now flow more efficiently across state boundaries, optimizing the use of generation resources and ensuring supply is available where and when it is needed most. This is energy resilience in its most practical sense.
Additionally, Sarawak aims to become ASEAN's energy battery with generation capacity reaching up to 10 gigawatt by 2030 and 15 gigawatt by 2035, in line with the post-COVID-19 development strategy PCDS 2030 and the Sarawak Energy Transition Policy. Sarawak is adopting the European Energy Cooperation model in its push for regional power integration, with the Borneo grid positioned as the first step towards the ASEAN Power Grid, APG. With its abundant and resilient energy resources, the region is now well positioned to play a leading role in shaping the ASEAN Power Grid. As such, Premier Sarawak, Dato' Peninggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, says ASEAN can align its energy systems by drawing lessons from Europe's proven and effective framework.
Abang Johari explained that the Sarawak-Sabah grid interconnection marks the initial phase of the Borneo grid, which will eventually link Sarawak, Sabah, Kalimantan, Brunei and Singapore.
Actually, we have started it, and I had the opportunity of expressing our views during the last Energy Summit in Putrajaya. And our view is there isn't any framework of collaboration among the 11 member countries at the moment. And I did suggest that they can look at the European Union interconnection of power, where not only confined to European Union, but also the Nordic countries supplying power through undersea cable.
Abang Johari adds that ASEAN does not need to reinvent. Instead, it should adopt cooperation models that have already proven successful in Europe. Such collaboration would allow ASEAN countries to better synchronize their power systems, strengthen regional energy resilience. This will effectively reduce reliance on energy sources which are not sustainable.
So when Sarawak and Sabah, now we have this Sabah-Sarawak interconnection, which is something to start trigger off. And soon we have agreed to supply power to Brunei, meaning that will be the core of
On to world news, a teenager suffered a fatal electric shock in a Berlin underground station after trying to retrieve his e-cigarette from the train track. City police said on Saturday that the 17-year-old had been part of a group celebrating at Deutsche Oper station and had tried to retrieve his vape, which had fallen under a stationary train. In doing so, he touched the rail, suffered an electric shock, and died at the scene. A police spokesman says the trains are sometimes temporarily parked in underground stations. However, the rails would have remained live even in the absence of a train, and contact with the rail could result in an electric shock. Spain will not take part in the Board of Peace-initiated launch by U.S. President Donald Trump to tackle global conflicts. Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez says he appreciates Trump's gesture but declined to remain consistent with its belief in multilateralism and the United Nations UN system. The Board of Peace, he adds, works outside the framework of the UN and has not included the Palestinian Authority.
El futuro en su conjunto de Palestina debe dirimirlo los palestinos. Y también el futuro de su coexistencia pacífica y segura con Israel deben dirimirlo fundamentalmente Israel y Palestina en un proceso dialogado que implemente la solución de los dos estados.
He went on to say that the US does not respect the international law. This unprecedented move is effectively destroying its relationship with the European Union, EU.
Que Europa quiere un mundo que se base en reglas claras, en el respeto al derecho internacional y, por tanto,
On to national news, Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim has firmly dismissed claims that Malaysia has ceded more than 5,200 hectares of land to Indonesia. He describes foreign media reports alleging that Malaysia handed over land as compensation for 3 villages near the Sabah-Kalimantan border as false and misleading. Anwar says both countries are currently engaged in formal and constructive negotiations on land measurement and compensation as part of ongoing border talks.
Menjadi wilayah Malaysia di Sabah. Ada progres bukan daripada jelas tak betul. Kena tengok.
The denial follows Indonesian media reports claiming that 3 villages in Kampung Kabulang-Galor, Kampung Lepaga and Kampung Tetagas, located in Nunukan, North Kalimantan, had fallen within Indonesian territory after a realignment of the Malaysia-Indonesia land border near Tawau, Sabah. The claim was raised by Indonesia's National Border Management Agency during a parliamentary meeting in Senayan last week. In response, Malaysia's Natural Resources and Environmental Sustainability Ministry said the border measurements have formalized under a bilateral MOU signed on February 18, 2025, with any adjustment made strictly in accordance with international law and precise geospatial coordinates, not political concessions. Discussions on increasing parliamentary seats for Sabah and Sarawak are still ongoing, with the federal government saying the process remains complex and tied to MA63. Any decisions will require constitutional amendments and the support of a 2/3 majority in Parliament. Deputy Prime Minister Dato' Amar Fadilah Yusof says while the government agrees in principle that the additional representation is warranted, the final outcome will depend on the ongoing negotiations and broader political census.
Dan untuk penambahan kursi ia menjadi cabaran yang paling utama disebabkan kalau dipersetujui kena dibawa ke peringkat parlimen. Dan parlimen kita memerlukan sokongan 2/3. Satu itu kita maknanya engagement perlu diadakan. Tapi setakat ini dari segi dasar, dari segi prinsip penambahan ada, tapi adakah apa yang dituntut oleh Sabah dan Sarawak itu dapat direalisasikan bergantung lagi dengan perundingan yang sedang berjalan.
He also addressed proposals to include the Economic Planning Unit and the Ministry of Finance in discussions on Sarawak's health autonomy, saying the issue will be formalized in upcoming technical meetings. This follows recent cabinet changes, including the reappointment of the Minister for Sabah and Sarawak Affairs, which he says will help expedite high-level talks.
Saya akan perincikan dalam mesyuarat teknikal yang akan datang. Kita akan perincikan dan disebabkan baru perubahan lagi dari segi komposisi kabinet, kita dah ada kembali Menteri Hal Ehwal Sabah Sarawak. Jadi dia akan memudahkan mesyuarat. Kemudian baru dibawa ke jawatan kepala siasat peringkat teknikal sebelum kita bawa ke majlis perundingan di peringkat tertinggi. Secepat mungkinlah.
The implementation of the hybrid solar system maintenance project will ensure a stable 24-hour electric for schools in remote Sarawak. Works Minister Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalingi says the project, implemented by his ministry, will benefit 121 schools in rural areas across Sarawak and aims to replace diesel generators that are costly and difficult to maintain. The project, he says, will enable savings of up to 80% in operational and maintenance costs, equivalent to about 90 million ringgit annually. The Madani government allocates 274.5 million ringgit for the project under the 4th rolling plan of the 11 Malaysia Plan. To date, 97 schools have been completed and have been operational since 2030, while another 15 schools completed and handed over in November 2025. The remaining schools are scheduled to be completed in phases within this year and next year. Sarawak has no immediate plans to repatriate overseas artifacts, though the return of select significant items remains possible. Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Datuk Seri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, says the current priority is to strengthen youth engagement with Sarawak's history and culture, while using international museum collections as a platform to showcase the state on the global stage.
Karena kalau kita lihat benda-benda yang terdapat di British Museum, di museum-museum yang lain dalam dunia, sedikit sebanyak mereka yang berkunjung ke museum-museum tersebut akan mengetahui berkenaan dengan Sarawak, berkenaan dengan Borneo.
The British Museum currently holds an estimated 4,500 Borneo artifacts, with nearly half believed to have originated from Sarawak. Notably, Charles Jose, a key historical figure in Marudi and a former British resident during the Brooke era, collected about 1,400 Bornean artifacts, where 973 are from Sarawak. Much of Sarawak and Borneo's cultural, environmental and historical records held in the British Museum and other global institutions have since been documented through academic publications, field research and photographic archives. Get all the updates you need all in one app. TVS Inspire brings you live updates on events, news and programs. Available now on the Apple App Store and Google Play Store. TVS Inspire will on your screen anytime, anywhere. Those were the updates on TVS Nightline. I'm Lorenzo Isaac. Thank you for watching and have a good night.